All right, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining me. A little later today because I had some plans earlier today. Quick announcement before we get started. I actually, so most of you know who've listened for a while, my recent norm was to use a 15K account size, which gives me about 3 bullets of 5K each for a trade. I've actually lowered my account to 12,000 now. The reason being is I want to be even more selective. It's a little bit trickier. A lot of early plays. I've been getting a little too early in the day. So 12K basically gives me 2 bullets. Because sometimes when I want to fill a position, it'll be 5.5K. It gives me a little like 1K cushion. So basically, it's two trades, 2 bullets instead of three. I've said before 2 to 3 bullets, but I'll give myself two for now with this market. So that's that. So setup going into today, if you recall, yes, wow, was it just yesterday? Yeah, we dumped into the close, we rallied and closed right around the 38-35 area. Overnight, we did nothing until about when Europe opened, and then we kind of did a drop and pop, and then we rallied, I guess, during the Europe hours, pretty much all the way until open. We went above this 38, 50, 55 big line over the past few months. And then the open was right about here. So we actually opened over some lines, over some resistance levels, but nothing too major to note. But it was a hard open, and I'll put up the SPX chart. What was it, the wrong day? I was looking at something else clearly. It was a hard open because this kind of open, I would have loved like a drop and then rally, or not necessarily even a full gap fill, but just to like the 38, 50, 55. If we opened up here, I would have loved a drop, double bottom and then run. But since we mostly, we chopped for about the first 15 minutes and then we took off, the one thing to note this morning was the dollar, DXY was down a lot, overnight. We had the Russian news about an hour, not even an hour, 45 minutes after the open. They were going to turn on the gas, which was, in my opinion, I didn't think they were ever going to turn off the gas. Doesn't make sense. Why would they? Unless they had like another country lined up, big countries that can replace that demand. They want to make money. But I guess maybe that was built into some negative sentiment recently. I I guess sometimes I get in this habit of thinking what I think it should be, versus like what sentiment maybe. But I didn't really, especially because we were so high up, we were already around, almost 3,900. I was like, how much higher can we go? So anyway, we had a gap, and pretty much it was a gap and go. And I don't chase gap and go, especially not this kind of gap and go. Again, if we had opened like right around 30, like as an example, you see here overnight, we rallied above 38, 50 and 55. We tested it and went. If the open had been around here, I would have loved to get it. But because we opened about 20 points higher, close to some of these resistances where you see we took a while to consolidate through, I just felt like I had no idea we were going to close at 39, whatever we closed, 39, 40, basically, I'll be honest with you, I didn't. If I did, I had no idea how I knew today was fairly going to be strong, especially after yesterday's drop that basically got negated. But I had no idea if it was going to be kind of a quick rally and then chop and then maybe a pop at the end of the day. I didn't think we were pretty much going to keep going until about what, 2 o'clock. So again, when I'm not sure, I don't take the trade. For those who have listened to me for since last year, when the market's easy, when I'm kicking ass, I'm telling you guys about all these huge winners. But like I mentioned yesterday, last month pretty much, I haven't had any huge crazy days. Now that doesn't mean there weren't opportunities, it just didn't fit my strategy. And I was looking for a meaningful drop. Like if you look, the best drop we had all day was like 10 points. Like look at this. Like look at just random S&P days. Like Obviously we had a drop, here there's a drop, and even these days, even on a choppy day, most of them, we had a 30-point drop, like look at these days, but look at today. I knew it was strong, but I can't, I just can't buy into this. And I'll tell you where I thought maybe I could have bought, but it still was hard. But on a day like today, as I've said before, you don't fight the trend. And by the trend, I mean the intraday trend. I don't mean the overall trend where we were kind of in a trading range. You don't want to, just because we hit some resistance levels doesn't mean, oh my gosh, we need to short. And so many people, they ask, should I short, or I was looking into shorting, or some people shorted futures, which is a little safer, but still they got wiped. And right here, you see this right here. I had at least 2 people message me. It was like, "Hey Kevin, is this head and shoulders? Is this a double top or something?" And on days like this, I get where they're coming from. If you look like if you were like right here, I see where you're coming from. I used to get tricked on these days. I'd be buying puts or whatever. But on these super strong days, where either we reverse higher or we just straight up go higher, everything is up, banks, tech, everything, especially when this is the middle of the day where I almost never try to buy anymore. I just know this is going to be consolidation. Like I was telling people, this is where I like state my views in the trading room very vocally. I put myself on the line because of my experience. I don't just say, no, it's not a head and shoulders because whatever. I say it because I've seen this so many times and tried to buy puts in these situations where I'm like, no, like if this fails, like that's like I don't even know if that's a 1 in 100. Like I'd be if you offer me a bet, I would definitely be, I'd give you good odds too. I'd be like, all right, I'll give you like 10 to 1 or whatever, that it's not gonna, drop 20 points for me. But anyway, some people were 2 mistakes. A lot of people I saw today were either thinking about shorts on a day where you don't fight the trend. Now, maybe we drop later in the week. VIX expires tomorrow with ECB Thursday, Tesla, Snap earnings. There are events that could possibly make this move up. And I'm not saying it will. Maybe this is just the start of an epic bear market rally, that one of those big ones that really traps a lot of people and we go higher. But if we do turn in the next 20, 50 S&P points, let's wait for some kind of event or situation to kind of start giving us that reversal. I want to catch the middle 50 to 80% of it. I don't want to catch. I don't want to try to catch the first 5 or 10% of the move and front run it. And imagine if you tried to short here, you tried to buy puts here, you tried again here, like you're just getting wiped, even though we were hitting resistance levels. So while I didn't get calls today, I also didn't get puts, so it didn't fit my strategy. The other thing people were doing a little bit today that I saw was where their entries were bad on calls. And what I mean by that is, like right here, you could be like, oh, we're consolidating, or whatever. Here it's some people are like, oh, maybe this is a double bottom. They were buying like here, they were buying, when the premium was hitting the peak. I know people that this was a big resistance level. My gold lines are big. I was pretty darn sure we were not getting past here today, and I had people basically, where was it? So I think they were buying calls like up here. Like after this move, they were buying calls up here. They were buying like the 39, 40, 45 calls. And I'm like, no, like your chances to get in were like here or here. You're buying, near the end of this move, and I'm pretty darn sure. And guess what? We pretty much chopped the rest of the day. A little bit of a bump at the end, but if you had bought here, I think the premiums were cut by 2/3 by the time we got to, over here. So 2 mistakes today I see from people is don't try to short or buy puts on a super strong trending day. I was looking to buy the dips all day, but I just never got a good dip. And if you want to get in after consolidation or dip. Don't get in on, at the end of the move, you get trapped. So that's that. I was looking for some specific setups. So I would have loved if we had dropped one more time and then went, and then here, so I was really thinking today we could have gotten what I call my 3 p.m. dip to rally. Those who have followed me before, basically what happens is on a super strong day or reversal day, between like 2:30 and 3:20, we get like a 15-20 point quick drop, and then we pop. Hasn't really been a good one lately. The last good one was actually this was like over a month ago, like right here, like as an example, this was June 7th. I remember this day very well because at 1 or 2 p.m. I was telling people about this scenario, and some people called me crazy. Around here, I was like, look, guys, if we can get a rally at 2, and then the bottom half of an hour we get a drop back to the original higher day from the morning, boom. And I got in calls right here and boom. So, I was looking for something more clean like this. But you saw today, we had the rally, but then it kind of trickled and chopped, but it barely dropped. This was what? See, this was like a 10 point drop. What I was looking for was a drop to about like 20, like low 20s. It would have been, I would have loved it if we hit here. I thought that was a bit asking too much because it was super strong, but I was hoping for a little bit more because I found that when you get like 3 to 5 clean red handles in a row, like you saw when I showed you June 7th, then the pop will be big. But today, the drop was kind of, very trickly, and it was still, look at all these candles, red, green, 2 reds in a row, but then green, it was so back and forth. It reminded me of Thursday. Let me right here. See 3 red handles and then boom. But if we go back to Thursday, so this was Thursday. Remember, and also when I commented on Thursday, I also said in the last hour when people were buying 3,800 calls, I was saying no. Same thing. We had the pop, but look, red, green, not really anything consistent. Again, I can't really explain why that is the case. Maybe it has to do with some of the mana charm stuff where we have to get that premium kill on the call side or whatever it is. But when I see it more choppy, I just know we're not going to go boom, like, up here. We're not going to close at 39.56. Now, had we gotten a bigger drop, I think it would have been possible. So really, you got mostly chopped up here. If you bought like here or here, yeah, you could have sold quickly for a double, I think, but it really wasn't much there. So that's that. So that was today. I made no trades, so it didn't fit my strategy. I'm sure a lot of people did, and it's not about following my strategy to the letter by any means. I think my strategy is a good guide. I think I have a lot of rules and account management and different things that are helpful to a lot of people. But so that was me today. Going into tomorrow, so we have VIX expiration tomorrow, ECB Thursday, Tesla and Snap after hour on Thursday. So we hit my first goal though. We haven't hit this level in a while, in a couple of weeks, I think. Hit here. Zoom out a little bit. So, actually, we didn't. No, actually, it's been a while. Yeah, it's been almost a month. When it's been a while since we really. Yeah, when we hit 39.50 and I called puts that day, I didn't hold it the whole day, but I was pretty much the first one that I knew of in any of the rooms I was in that called this play. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm by no means making that prediction, but you see, like within this trading range, my gold lines are like my big levels, and I've said for about a month now that this was my first big level. Now, that doesn't mean that this is the reversal point. We could easily, I think, overshoot to 4,420. I think I would be more surprised if we got past this area. Now, again, if this is some crazy bear market rally, like we can go higher. I'm always open to that, but we'll see what happens in the next few days with the setups and the events. I think if we do get a reversal, it should probably Thursday, maybe Friday after the earnings. I'm thinking Thursday just because that's a good day for after VIX expiration. Also, we're leading up to Tesla and Snap, so people are kind of positioning, or maybe even people know, or someone always knows. I don't know. But Thursday, again, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying, like, if there was a day, I think Thursday might be the day. And it depends on what we do overnight too. So that's that. But yeah, it's very careful up here. You definitely don't want to be too bullish, but you also don't want to, like today, you don't want to front run. And if you are going to, if I did want to buy calls tomorrow, for instance, if we opened, I don't know where we go, but say we drop to like 39.15 and make some good bottoming action, yeah, I'd be open to buying calls, but I'm not buying it up here. I'm not buying a gap up. I'd be interested on a gap down or a flat open and then a drop in the first hour. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Questions. JB, of course, my best student this week. On the second 39.15 touch, on the mini drop, the risk reward on calls weren't good enough for you, I guess. Are you talking about right here? I'm gonna give you a second, JB. 130. Yep, this one. Okay, so yeah. Oh, that's actually a good question because I was going to talk about this and I forgot. So I hinted earlier that basically when I looked back at the market an hour ago, I always look back at, okay, what trades did I do? Were they good, bad? Were my entries good? All that stuff. But I also see, okay, I didn't make any trades today. Clearly there was a big move. What the hell did I miss? And I explained earlier why I couldn't get in here, and I'm okay. I'm more than okay with that. And I don't buy in the middle of the day, but yes, right here could have been the entry. And what it is we broke up above this 39.15, which was a big line from, I think it's a moving average as well. It's like I forget, it's like the 50-day on the ES or the SPX. It's also just been a big level previously. So we broke above, and then we pretty much retested it, and then boom. And you know what? And I always like horizontal lines like this, where the low of this sort of drop is like matches the previous high from the last move. When you see, and this applies to individual tickers. Like when I used to trade Tesla and all these fangs, and they like trend all day, you'll see that they'll push, they'll drop, they'll push, and then drop to the end of the last put. So yeah, this would have been interesting. But yeah, I was just looking for a bigger drop. It was just, and in terms of the risk rewards, I actually looked at this. So I would have never held it to this. I would have sold right about here. Probably either right before this move ended or right after. I never, very rarely will you see me top tick the sell. It does happen because sometimes there's setups that time perfectly with what I'm looking for, but most of the time I'll sell either early or right after. So a reasonable buy, if I were to have bought, and this is with hindsight, I would have bought on this candle right here, this 130 candle. I would have gotten, I think, 39. I want to say the 25. I forget what strike it was, or it may have been the 30s. It might have been the 30s. Let me see. Yeah, it would have been the 39.30s. And I think they were about 3 to 4. I think it would have been about 3.5 to 4. And if I had sold up here, they were like 13, 14. So not bad. 10 points, a 3x. That it is enough risk reward for me in hindsight. But right here, like I mentioned earlier, I just wasn't sure how much we had to go the rest of today. Like I said, when I was here, I was like, I didn't, and that doesn't mean I think it was going to drop today. I just mean like we could have chopped way more. Like if you look at just the S&P, wrong day, come on, look at the S&P today. Yeah, we had this hour of consolidation, but like it was pretty clean. It wasn't like one of those days where you have a move early or late, but then it just is flat most of the day. So again, I just was uncertain. I'm honest with you guys. I was uncertain. And a lot of days, if you see me in the past, I'll give you clear targets. I'll be like, okay, I think we can get here. I think we can get here for these reasons. I just didn't have a number in mind. So for that, right? I was looking at this, and all these drops, I was looking at the premium. They looked decent, but they didn't look amazing. And I didn't have profits today. I have not that much profits on the week. So I didn't really want to risk it. But yeah, this would have been fine had I had more confidence. I want to trade with confidence, trade with conviction, and I just didn't quite have it today. And again, we're at 39. you know, we're at the top of the range. Now that doesn't mean we won't break higher, like I said, but we're right at the top of the range. And I had this. Now maybe I could have been like, well, look, there's no line in between here, you know. Maybe I should have done that and made that trade. You know, there's so many what ifs and things, but you know, I have to make this decision in the span of about 5 minutes, and I just wasn't certain. You know, I've given you some reasons why I was less certain today than I was on other days. Because you know, there are plenty of days where I'm like, I see this. I see when I'm gonna an hour before it happens, I'm like, this is gonna happen at this time. I'm gonna make this entry, and then 40 minutes later, I'm gonna exit. You know, those are the days I'm all over it. But today I was just uncertain enough where, and I mean, at 10 points, you know, I like 10 points. It's not, I definitely be very happy with 10 points, you know, but again, that's what hindsight is. Now, if for some reason there was an obvious, I don't know, like imagine if we chopped more here during the middle of the day and then we dropped here and then bounced, I would have definitely, and I missed that bounce all the way into the close, then I would have been pissed. But you know, 10-point move is definitely a good move, don't get me wrong, but it's not a move where I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot for missing that. It was, and you played it a little cautious, especially yesterday, how I started the day red and ended up, you know, decently green. You know, I wanted to be really cautious today. And again, we were at the top of the range. So those are just my reasons. They saved me from, you know, today, obviously they caused me to not make money, but 4 times out of 5, they saved me from losing money. So that's the trade-off I'm willing to take. Any other questions? Feel free to type. I'll take a few more questions and then I'm gonna sign off. Kind of tired today, but I appreciate you guys joining me. Even though not too much to report, especially since I didn't do any trades, but I wanted to give some commentary on, you know, what I saw and, you know, my thought process. All right. Well, thanks you all for joining. I'll try to do probably one more this week. I want to say either tomorrow or Thursday, whichever day we get more action. If I don't make a trade tomorrow or there's nothing, I'll probably skip tomorrow and then do Thursday, but we'll see. But thanks. Hope this was helpful and have a good rest of your night, guys. Bye.